Okay, we continue with chapter 36. Vayosef Elihu, Vayomar, and Elihu spoke once more. Tatar li zeir va'achaveka, ki od le'eloam milim. Wait a little and let me hold forth. There's still more to say for God. Esadei ilamei rachok, ulefolai etain tzedek. I'll make my opinions widely known. I will justify my maker. Ki omnam lo sheker milai, tmim deot imach. Because my words are not false. A man of sound opinions is before you. It's just over and over again. He seems to be trying to tell them that he's right. Okay, and that's how he starts this chapter again, opening remarks of what he seems to be, trying to attempt to say to them. Continuing pasuk, hey nail kabir velo yumas kabir koach lev. God is mighty, he's kabir, and God is not contemptuous. God is mighty in strength. God is mighty with his lev, either his heart or more likely, as we've said many times, his mind. Lo yechia rasha mishpatin aniyim yitain. God doesn't let the wicked live. He grants justice to the aniyim, to the lowly. Lo yigra mitzadik einav v'et melachim lekisei v'yoshivim lenetzach v'yikbahu. He does not withdraw his eyes from the righteous. With kings on the throne, he seats them forever, and they are exalted. V'im asurim bazikim yilchadun bechavle oni. If they are bound in shackles and caught in affliction. So, right, what's saying here is God is the one who decides what's going to happen to people. That's what God is going to. That's what God is going to do. God is going to decide how people are, what's going to happen to them, and He's going to punish those who are wicked. He's going to put them in shackles. Vayagid lahem pa'alam in verse 9. Upishehem ki yitgabaru. He declares to them what they have done and that their transgressions are excessive. How does he declare it? He declares it through punishment. He opens their understanding through musar. Word here is, in my English, is discipline, but right, it's the yisurin, it's the punishment. It's the pain that people go through that in Elihu's mind, as he said a couple of chapters ago, this is the way God communicates to tell you, you've been wrong. Here's a patch. Now learn from it. And what does he do? By doing that, he attempts, Vayomar Kishivun Me'av, and he's going to return them back from mischief through the potch. Im Yishma'u, we're in verse 11, Vayavodu Yichlu Yimeim Batov Shneim B'ni'imim. If they will serve obediently, they will spend their days in happiness, their years in delight. Vim Lo Yishmu B'Shelach Yavoru V'Yigva'u B'Vli Dat. But if they are not obedient, they will perish by the sword. They'll die for a lack of understanding. V'Chanfei Lev Yasimu Af Lo Yishva'u Ki Asaram. But those who are impious, what happens? They become angry. They don't cry for help when God afflicts them, right? They don't realize that God is patching them they don't realize that God is patching them to turn them into the right way. And that's you, Iyov, right? Because that's Iyov is refusing it. Iyov is saying he's righteous. Continuing in verse 19, they die in their youth, they expire amongst the depraved. We've said this before, that one of the things that Elihu said is that if God was really angry, he would kill you. But God leaves you alive, Iyov. And Iyov, at this point in his life, he has said, as opposed to in the beginning of his arguments, that he just wants to die. Now he doesn't want to die anymore. He wants to argue with God. Elihu is saying, Iyov, God is only patching you. He hasn't killed you as a chance for you to repent, a chance for you to return to God. Right? He hasn't killed you. He hasn't allowed you to expire. Verse 15, God rescues the lowly from their affliction and opens their understanding through distress. Right? If you understand your distress, you call to God, then God will rescue you. And there we have the first go. God punishes the wicked, and he's good to the righteous. And now he's going to basically say the same thing, but as opposed to in theory, he's going to direct it a little bit more to Iyov. God rescues the lowly. So I read that verse 16. God draws you away from the brink of distress to a broad place where there is no constraints. Your table is laid out with rich food. That's what's going to happen. V'din rasha mileta, din umishpato yitmochu. You are obsessed with the case of the wicked man, but the justice of the case will be upheld. Right? If you want to go to justice, you want to have a case with God. Okay, have a case with God. You're going to lose. The case will be upheld. God will be right. Ki chema pen yisitcha b'safek v'rav kofer al yateka. Let anger at his affluence not mislead you. Let much bribery not turn you aside. You think that you can fix the case? Will your limitless wealth avail you all your powerful efforts? Do not long for the night when people vanish where they are. Hishamer al tefen el oven ki al zeh bacharta meoni. Beware, don't turn to mischief, to problematic behavior. Because of that, you have been tried by affliction. Here it's specifically to Iyov, admonition to Iyov. You want to argue, you think you're going to be able to do that. That's not what's going to happen. You are not going. God punishes the wicked. He helps the righteous. You need to understand that, Iyov. Stop arguing that you are in charge, that you understand what is going on. Now we have sort of strange thing that happens now. Hen, or in verse 22, Al yaskivu b'chocho michamo mores. He's going to start by talking about God's power. See, God is beyond reach in his power. Who governs like him? Whoever reproached him for his conduct, whoever said you have done wrong? Well, Iyov said it. Zechor ki taski pa'alo asher shoreru anashim. Remember then to magnify his work of which men have sung. So here, right, what Elihu is saying is everybody knows God is great, God is the best, God is in control, God is overpowering, God is more powerful, God does everything. And how could anybody ever doubt God? How could everybody ever argue with God about what God does? No, that's not what people do. People magnify his work. They sing tales, songs about his greatness. Well, I will tell you, like Iyov, there are many in our tradition who have questioned God's justice, who have asked God how the Jewish people who have remained loyal to God. Yes, we make mistakes, we make errors. Not everyone is perfect, far away from it. We've had many a sinner, but how is it that such horrible things have happened to the Jewish people? It's a long tradition dating back all the way, you could say, to Moshe arguing about not destroying the Jewish people. So I don't know that Elihu is right here in his argument in terms of all of Jewish history. Obviously, the majority of Jewish history, great rabbis, great scholars, have always talked about God's greatness, much less that God has not treated the Jewish people right. But that's the claim that's made here by Elihu. And now let's listen to the, he sung, and now let's hear the last few verses of the chapter. So what does he say here we're in 25. Kol adam chazubo enosh yabit mirachok. All men have beheld God's greatness. Men have seen from a distance. Hen el sagi velo neda mispar shana velo cheker. And here's his hymn and sort of his song to God. See, God is greater than we can know. The number of his years cannot be counted. Ki yigra nitfei mayim yizoku matar le'edo. God forms droplets of water, which cluster into rain from his mist. Asher yizlu shechakim yirafu alei adam rav. The skies rain, they pour down on all mankind. Afim yavin mipor se'av tishuot sukato. Can one contemplate the expanse of God's clouds, the thundering from his pavilions? Hein paras salav oro. For Shorshe hayam kisa, God spreads his lightning over it. It fills the bed of the sea. Kivam yadin amim. Kivam yadin amim yitain ochel lemakbir. By these things, God controls people. He gives food in abundance. Al kapayim kisa or vyatz abalav afgia. Sorry, my daughter keeps calling me. Try to tell her I have meetings. Lightning fills his hands. He orders it to hit the mark. Yagid alav reo mikna af al oleh. Its noise tells of him the kindling of his anger against iniquity. And here, what Elihu is doing, he's singing some sort of song, some sort of poem to God about God's greatness, how God controls the rain and his power. What do these two things have to do with each other? Unclear exactly what it's supposed to be. But it's about God's justice and God's power. And Elihu maybe wants to, in a sense, counter Iyov, unlike Iyov, who is coming and is disrespecting God. What Elihu is trying to do is he's trying to sing about the wonders of God. And so maybe that's what he's doing here in this chapter. Either way, he has continued to talk. He has continued to make speeches. He has continued to try to tell these people that he is he understands more than them. we'll see he'll give one last speech, which we'll see in the next chapter.